pay attention. Oh. Good evening, and welcome everybody to the Lepanto Institute's anchor team. I'm your host tonight, Alyssa Hitchborn, and my guest is Catherine Rose, and we are here to discuss her book, A Return to Beauty. Ancient Catholic Wisdom and Modern Fashion. We're going to get right into this topic as soon as we say our prayer. Obviously, for the people who are tuning in tonight, if you have questions that you'd like to ask Catherine or myself, I will try to pay attention to the comm box, and we'll get to your questions after we go through some of the topics in the interview. But for now, we will start with our prayer. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum. Benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen.
Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Amen.
All right. Well, Catherine, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I think we should just kind of dive right in. I think we could start with maybe setting out what modesty is and perhaps what it isn't.
Okay.
Since, this is a word that I've been in groups of Catholic women when that word has said. I have never seen such angry reactions to that word.
Yes.
Like you want to start a cat fight online, you use that word.
Correct. I mean that are vaccines, right? Like those
right.
two words explode.
Yes. So maybe you could set out for us, maybe this is sort of the big picture part. Maybe talk about what modesty is and maybe what it isn't first.
Okay. So when God first called me in 2011 in adoration to wear only skirts and dresses, I did not understand why that mattered because I was wearing pants and being modest, I thought. After my big conversion in college, I had wanted to know like how a Catholic girl dresses. So I'd gone to the catechism and it says, that modesty protects the intimate part of the person. And I was wanting like fabric guidelines. So
yeah, exactly. How long can it be?
Correct. Like, not very helpful. So then after I began to wear skirts and dresses, I wanted to know fabric dimensions. Like I wanted to know what is a Catholic dress code?
Sure.
And so I began to also research like what is the true meaning of this virtue? Because as you said, I think that modesty is so misused in our culture and misunderstood. Women tend to either think it means like as much fabric as possible. Mm-hmm. And I need to cover up. Like I've seen women in mass wearing long denim skirts, long sleeve shirts, and like a cape over the top, right? So there's this ultra hiding, but then also there's some women who think that modesty means, well, I just wear whatever I want, but I don't intend to entice a man. And there's no fabric guidelines at all. So Thomas Aquinas says that modesty is actually a daughter virtue of the cardinal virtue of temperance. So, there's the four cardinal virtues: prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude. And temperance is kind of like the Goldilocks virtue. It's the not too much, not too little. I take ownership of my passions and I master myself so that my appetites are subordinate to reason. And so then modesty actually is a daughter of that, which might seem kind of strange. But Thomas Aquinas says that modesty dictates how I present myself in the world in a way that is my appetites are subordinate to reason. So it's not too much and it's not too little attention. So modesty is, of course, in how we act and how we speak, but also in terms of how we dress. He says that how I dress is first dictated according to the occasion, that I dress for the occasion. And I dress so as to honor the host and to be courteous to the other guests. And we know this, right? Like if I were to wear a white ball gown to your wedding,
right,
that would be like offensive and unexpected. Yeah. So not appropriate for the occasion. Second, Thomas Aquinas says that we also dress for our stations. And that seems strange to us as Americans because since we're so formed by the French Revolution and this notion of equality, meaning that we're all alike, and in some sense, we're all kind of like the lowest common denominator, our culture tends to be really, really super casual, right? Like as we were saying earlier before we started, people wear pajamas and slippers to the grocery store.
Yes.
And so it's strange to think about someone's station being like honorable, but we still, of course, like honor our mayor. Or if I meet a heart surgeon, I expect him to like be wearing a suit or like something that kind of is more fitting to his station, his job. When I was a pro,
I gotta be honest, it's weird to see priests wearing like Hawaiian shirts and shorts.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't relax and let their hair down, but it is weird to see them out of uniform, if you will.
Well, yeah, and I mean there is a modesty that's like suitable for a priest insofar as I don't know that I think it's appropriate for him ever to wear shorts.
Yeah, no, same. I agree.
So when I became a full-time wife and mother after being a pro-life lobbyist, well, I struggled like, well, what's suitable to my life? Because people would ask me, what do you do? And it's like, well, I'm just a mom,
Yeah.
So I had to finally come to the conclusion that I had wanted this life. I had chosen this life. And so I would dress in a way to honor my station, that what I was doing in the home, educating my children, having duties to support my husband was really honorable. And it was challenging though, because I would go to like a mommy play date at the park and I'd be wearing a cute sundress and, sneakers or whatever, and they'd all be in running shorts and tank tops. And these were all great women, like good friends of mine. But it's challenging to always feel kind of overdressed. But I have convictions about that. This is my station, as Thomas Aquinas said. And then the third aspect of modesty and dress is that I wear sufficient fabric to honor my body. But again, like not too much fabric in some sense and not too little. So Aristotle said, and then Thomas Aquinas took this, that there is a certain like honesty about the body that's appropriate. So I have a woman's body. And in the West, the kind of iconic customary outline is like the hourglass figure.
Right.
And if we think about Our Lady, like whenever she appears, she always belts her waist, right? She's not like totally covered. You can tell that's a womanly figure. And she's not like drawing undue attention to her body in any way. But I think that those women that like kind of want to close everything off as if that's modesty, well, that actually can kind of be shame in a way that's like not necessary.
Yes. Obviously, you and I both know that a lot of women get kind of rattled about the modesty question because what is modest to one person might not be modest to another. We have sort of a subjective, scale of standards when it comes to clothing, which is why I think your book is so good, because you address like, well, we do need to have some sort of objective standard. Otherwise, it is pajamas to the store. Because if I think that looks fine, then, you're judging me and being mean if you tell me it doesn't. Right. So we have to have some kind of standard that we're following that's more objective. Right? Versus what comes off as subjective.
Right. Yes.
And I think a lot of women have been the unfortunate recipients of subjective judgment from others, for what they are wearing. And that's one of the reasons why they can be testy about.
Oh, yeah. They get really, really defensive, So when I first had this call in 2011, I thought, well, I need to tell the world about it. So I had a little blog.
Actually, Catherine, will you tell us, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit with getting into modesty, but can you maybe tell us your story a little bit?
Sure.
Like what happened in 2011 that led to all of this?
Okay. So, big conversion in college. I was raised Catholic-ish. Like I got the sacraments by God's grace, but no formation. And by God's grace, at Notre Dame, I actually found the fullness of the faith, which is kind of miraculous at Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame, yes.
But I met a group of students who would pray the rosaries in the chapel in the evening. We were called the Children of Mary, and we would do the consecration and the scapular, and I found the rosary and adoration. So I felt at this conversion, I felt like a good deal of shame that I had dressed previously like in a cultural way, kind of quite provocative in high school and first year of college. And so I was not sure how to dress. And I wore big kind of baggy, shapeless things. And I didn't wear makeup or curl my hair because that was all vain, I thought. And also I have like a pretty face, let's say. And I felt like, well, that must be a near occasion of sin. So I did not know what to do with my appearance. But then through reading Pope John Paul's Theology of the Body, I came to understand, and Pope John Paul like really just took Thomas Aquinas and sort of rephrased it. So I came to understand, Thomas Aquinas says that anima forma corpus, right? That the soul is the form for the body. And by that, he means that the soul is like the structure around which the body is built. Well, Pope John Paul said, the body expresses the person, so that my body is me. So he kind of went the other direction with it. So through that, I came to have less shame and to just like realize my body's not inherently bad. But then in 2011, I was in adoration, eyes closed, and all of a sudden I had this like image, very, very bright and very full of energy, which some priests say is like the mark of a grace. It's very, very peaceful, very energetic. And the Lord showed me this sidewalk full of women in like lovely dresses, kind of like in like 1950s. And I heard God say, you go and do that. And so I opened my eyes and I thought, what in the world? Like, first of all, kind of why does it matter that I wear skirts and dresses? Like I would wear like them to mass on Sunday, but I wore jeans. And also like, how am I to accomplish that? Like, how does one possibly do that? But I said yes, because I love Jesus. So I gave away all my pants, and I had to find things that were suitable for a young mother of toddlers. And at that time, it was kind of before the modesty movement. And so it was difficult to find clothing that had enough fabric because I wanted to cover my shoulders and my upper chest and my knees. Now it's a lot easier. There are a lot of American boutiques that, especially kind of like Pentecostals. So they have these very feminine, but like lovely things. And then also the Muslim buying market around the world is huge. So a lot of Chinese companies really sell like lovely things, but with lots of fabric, like long, to market for Muslim women. So there's a lot of options now. Well, anyway, so at the same time that I had a little blog called It's Fun to Be a Girl. And I just talked about like, guess what? I realized that women began to wear pants as a feminist reaction against masculinity. And it was a way to be equal to men because we'd be like men. And so what if we just wear dresses and skirts? And I did not expect that there were these women online who would feel enraged by that because they felt implicitly, as you were saying, like condemned.
Judged,
I was so naive. And also she was like a popular Catholic blogger. She took a blog post of mine where I talked about like I had childhood wounds. Now I'm like rediscovering being feminine and being vulnerable and soft. And she was like, oh, great. Another person finding out how to be feminine. And she shared it on Facebook, like my article, like in a mocking way. And my husband was Facebook friends with her. And he's like, hey, that's my wife, you know? So there was this kind of cadre of women who were really nasty online. And I like tried to reach out and have conversation, and it did not go well.
Yeah.
So at that time, I just resolved, I guess I don't know how to talk about this. And I thought, I'll just live it. I'll just be faithful and live it.
Sure.
I don't know what God wants from this. And then in 2023, my husband began to say to me, write a book. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to rouse the feminist rage dragon. Like, I don't want to do that. But he kept saying, you need to write a book. So finally I thought this must be the Holy Spirit. So I said yes, out of obedience, but I did not want to do it. And I kind of would like write and grumble, and I had a lot of fear about this. I did not want to become like this national spokesperson for skirts and dresses. And one publisher actually wanted the book, but it did not end up. Their team thought it was too controversial, too edgy, so they didn't take it.
Isn't that funny? Too edgy.
Ultimately, no publishers would take the book, so I had to self-publish. So I guess in 2024, I thought, well, I wrote the book out of obedience, but obviously nobody wants it. I'm just going to leave it. And then that summer, July 2024, so about a year ago, out of nowhere again, God said, write the book, but as if just from your heart. Just write it very simply. God, with me, he's like quiet, and then bam. So I began to just write the book, like as if I was talking to you, right? Like, what about this? Well, what about this? And it wrote like very quickly. And I feel like it's the right tone. It's just very simple. I'm not trying to convince anybody or sound academic. I just want to share my experience.
No, but I thought in the book that yes, I think you struck the right note of making it a personal appeal to other women to say, hey, ladies, like, we are, creatures made by God and we were made for loveliness. And so we should wear things
Yes.
that reflect that reality within.
Right.
I thought you did that, but also combining it with, here, let's bring in, Aristotle and Aquinas and what do the popes say about it?
Yes.
So it lends it some, scholarly backbone. It's not
Yes.
just my personal opinion.
Correct. Yeah. There's
I
there's
thought that was great.
documents.
Yeah,
Good.
no, I think that hit the right note of saying, like, look, it's not just, me with my prairie dress opinion over here. Like,
Uh,
like, I am basing it on something real. And certainly the history of women's fashion bears that out, as we know.
yes,
Just
like a
100 years.
dramatic undressing.
Yes, yes. And that women have been now conditioned to think that that is normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
Well, I mean, our culture is so predatory. And if you watch The Sound of Freedom, so sad, but beautifully done. But like really a wake-up call that young girls are being groomed by
Yes.
predatory men. This is not an accident, right? And my son, we homeschool, so he was on a homeschool boys soccer team last year. And they played a local private school. They had a co-ed soccer team. So all the boys are wearing long, like knee-length soccer shorts. And on the same team, on the co-ed team, the girls were wearing little tiny running shorts.
Mhm.
Now, you tell me, like, do girls need to wear little shorts? Or is that done to them? And they're taught that that's normal, and also that that's their freedom of expression. So then if they feel criticized, well, then they're going to like react against the criticism. But what if someone's actually saying to you, no, I want to protect you from icky predators because you're being groomed. So we see little girls, like with my daughter who passed away last year.
Oh,
When she
yeah.
was, oh
Oh, I'm so
yes,
sorry. Yes, no,
Josephine.
I
When
didn't
she
know if
was,
you wanted to address that or not, but very
oh
sorry for
sure,
your loss.
thank you. But when she was little, I wanted to dress her in loveliness, but also that was functional for like a little girl. And it was difficult to find things. Either it was like a cute dress, but it had cold shoulders, right? Cutouts. Or it was long enough, but it had the back cut out. So I was always having to improvise, like get a cute little blouse with puff sleeves to wear under a sleeveless sundress,
Mhm.
or have leggings under a short dress, and just always trying to like keep her covered in a culture that just wanted to undress her.
Yes.
It is really marked.
No, it is very difficult. I have 4 daughters, and so, yeah, like, we've done everything from,
Yes.
Land's End dresses to what's at the thrift store to hand-me-downs and things we got from other people, and it is, yeah, it's a challenge for sure. It's almost a relief
Yes.
when they get old enough to wear women's clothing because then
Right.
you can at least find a lot more there than you can usually what's marketed to younger girls is just,
Mhm.
you know, it's not that
Yeah,
great.
it is especially, I think, challenging with tweens. That
Yes.
seems to be a market that's really underserved in terms of pretty things with enough fabric.
Yes.
And and again, like it's not ideal to shop these Chinese websites, but they do have a lot more really cute things. So with Josephine, I would try to buy quality things, but sometimes it's like we need to buy more skirts. And there were these like lovely, I mean, polyester skirts made in China, but like really pretty things. And so kind of what do you do? I have some friends who feel really, really strongly about not buying from China and also really like very strongly about not wearing polyester. But then you spend $100 on a skirt from
Yes.
Quince or
Mhm.
whatever, or Etsy. And that's also not like for most families very realistic. So what's the
Yes.
proper balance?
Yes. No, I definitely think that that is, again, part of the discussion of modesty is how do you how can you realistically go about it, in your own life? Because obviously as the mother, if you want your daughters to dress a certain way, you have to model it,
Yes.
you know? And also then there's the question of like, you know, what do we wear for rough work? like as I told you before we started, I go outside a lot and I do yard work and, weeding and gardening and things like that. And I certainly don't want to be wearing this while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So, how do we address that? Like, I mean, I have a good friend who I need to get her to tell me where she gets these things. She has some pretty decent like work dresses that
Uh-huh.
she wears, and she just wears them all the time. She puts an apron over it, and that's what she does her housework in and everything. But it's a functional dress. It's got good fabric and everything, but it's not a fancy dress. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Correct.
something you'd wear to church probably, but
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the difficulty is like in the 50s, for example, women had very functional, like nursing friendly streetwear, right? And then like with gloves and a hat, you would wear that, and pumps maybe. And then when you came home, you could put on a house dress. That was like not a muumuu. It was like a lovely, I mean, it almost looked kind of like a belted gown. And that way, if a friend stopped by, you weren't in your pajamas, but you were like wearing
you
appropriate
weren't
clothing
dressed up for the
for
society
home.
either. Yeah.
Yep. So I also love to garden. We live on like some land. We have sheep and chickens and ducks. So I get it. And I have one pair of jeans and I wear them when I ride horses. And also I wear them in my garden because we have fire ants in Texas, and I have really react to those. So I wear jeans and knee-high like barn boots.
Yeah.
But
Well, then
other than
that's the occasion though, right? Like, you said earlier, like we dress for the occasion.
yes.
And if
Yeah,
fire
and I
ants
like
the occasion, you wear jeans.
yeah, and I like want to cover my bum with like a long shirt,
Right.
and I don't want to embarrass my son or anything. I have some friends who feel really strongly about this, and they'll actually wear exercise skirts, even for riding horses. But for me, that was like a little bit beyond the pale for me.
Yeah.
But if I'm watering outside, if I'm watering the grass or if I'm picking strawberries, I don't need to wear pants. It's only for me if I'm in the garden on my knees.
Right.
So I wear an apron just like your friend almost all the time. And I also don't buy clothes as a mom that needs to be dry cleaned. I mean, mostly polyester or cotton, so it's washable.
Yes.
So even if it gets dirty, like that's okay.
Right. True. Okay. There was a question from
It's
the
fun.
audience. It was, how do we as women address the modesty issue with our priests and other women and girls?
Oh my
So
word.
yes, it's a big one.
With fear and trembling.
Yes, exactly. I'm assuming since she mentioned priest, she's talking about modesty at mass.
Yes.
Let me see if I can here. There we go.
I
It's
see it.
from Lisa
Lisa.
Evers. Sorry about that.
Lisa, that's a great question, and that is a hard one. With priests, I think that most of them agree with us, but they have actually been told by the bishop to not speak about it. Like there was a really good young priest when we were in Austin. We live in Tyler, Texas now. But this young priest wanted to talk to like the young ladies, and the bishop told him, "You may not," because the bishop was going to get a bunch of angry phone calls.
Yes.
And he was afraid or whatever. So at our parish, some people went to the pastor and asked if they could put up like a dress code on the door. You may have seen before on some parishes, there's like a daily mass, do, daily mass, do not. Sunday mass, do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
so it shows like daily mass, maybe you have short sleeved, but like your knees are covered in a skirt or dress. Or if you like really, really wanted to, in loose trousers. But trousers are never as nice as a dress.
Right.
And then Sunday mass, like long sleeved, and like it also is the same for men. It's not just like for women. Like everybody needs to wear sleeves and have knees covered, so no shorts. And our pastor at first was really hesitant to do that, but then finally he agreed, and it's helpful. Like because people come to my parish for the first time and they don't know quite how to dress, so it's like it's very clearly laid out. I also just once have heard a priest preach about this, and it was amazing. He said, listen, like women, you're queens. And people out in the world, they know that you're Catholic, like homeschooling moms or whatever. They already know that you are, and they're looking at you, wanting to understand what your life means to you. So don't be afraid. I think kind of like in my book, like don't be afraid to be lovely and to elevate culture. So it was not about like, you're not wearing enough fabric, you need to be embarrassed. But it was like, step it up, right? And then talking to other women, that for me is a really delicate issue. Of course, in my life, I've just sought to live it. And what's interesting is whenever I wear intentionally like pretty but trendy clothes, people usually, I get so many compliments. And I'm not trying to get attention, but it's like, I
Right.
love your skirt. And so it's like really an open door then to talk about, well, it's so fun to be a girl. I love to be beautiful for my family, and I love to like wear enough fabric because I'm worth it, kind of thing. In terms of like rebuking or encouraging someone, that is so tricky. And with my book, I had to actually go to a couple of friends and have conversations before the book came out and say, listen, you know that I love you. And this book is actually going to like disagree with how you wear, or like, but I'm not writing the book for you. I mean, I am, but like, I'm not attacking you. And they were like, look, it's okay. We don't agree on this. So I have seen women who at church came up to like women who were visiting for the first time and like embarrassed them. We're like, oh, that's not appropriate. And that caused a lot of hurt. So
Yes.
You don't want to do that, but maybe look for an opening, and then like in a very cheerful, positive way, saying, oh, let me help you find something really pretty to wear. Or if they compliment your dress, say, oh, I'll send you the link to it.
Yes.
That's the best way I've found. But how about you? Like, what have you found? Elisa.
I do think that having some kind of signage at church helps a lot.
Yes.
Especially when I was growing up, there was a beloved priest who he actually got moved out of our town to a different parish, but at his bigger parish that he got moved to, he used to have signs up,
Yes.
about do's and don'ts for mass. It wasn't specific to like daily mass versus Sunday, but it was just a do's and don'ts. And they've done that at our church as well. I think that helps as a starting point because
Mhm.
it's signage. It's not me approaching you saying,
Yes.
ew, I noticed something. Like it's signage. And so
Yep.
that, we can blame the signs, not a person's
Correct.
approach. So I think that's helpful. I do, I'm my personality, I'm much more on the like, let's be positive versus negative. So I do love it when I see women look lovely. And I most certainly go up and compliment them on their dresses and their choices they've made, especially when they're, they're wrangling like a baby and a toddler and all that. I'm
Yes.
like, girl, you look awesome.
Yes.
Not just your dress, but the way you're carrying yourself. Like, this is awesome. Keep it up. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that
Go
I
ahead.
also kind of think that young girls, they go through that phase of figuring out who they are and, what their worth is. And their moms, of course, are really fundamental to that. And women they respect, which is why you dressing that way is so important
Yep.
as a role model. I do suspect that they will eventually grow out of the provocative stage. You know what I mean? Like where they're not
Mhm.
really, it's more ignorance versus something else. I mean, maybe that's just me. Like, I'm not sure. I think that that's a best for mom to approach when it's certainly a girl.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
a fellow
Yeah.
woman, I don't know. Like, for me, it'd have to be pretty bad to have to like come up and say something. Um,
Yeah. I don't know how that can be approached in a way that's not going to cause upset. We've had some families come to our parish, and like at our parish, we followed like the Vatican dress code, right? So everything covered. And we have had some families come wearing pretty skimpy things, and
mhm.
there were some with women who were horrified. And the priest said, "Give it time. They'll figure out that here is our custom." And actually, we've seen that happen where, like, first of all, the children became much more calm and well behaved in mass, and they began to like the husband began to wear a suit.
Mhm.
And like the first time he came in a t-shirt and flip-flops because they didn't know, and so they realized like, oh, here was the culture without anybody saying anything to them.
Right, but there has to be that culture in the
That
first place,
sign. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, in
correct.
other words, in your book, you talk a lot about how some people view modesty as, well, I just want to fit in. So if I'm standing out because I'm wearing a skirt or something, then that's being immodest, right? Because I'm drawing some sort of attention to myself
Yes.
versus just fitting in. Um, and obviously you address that the right way of saying, no, our duty is to, to God and to our own understanding of like what we're made for, what our bodies are made for, and it is for loveliness, and we should dress accordingly, whether that means we're the only one in the room wearing the dress. But in order to affect a sea change, you do need to have more than one doing it usually, right? Like you said,
Yes, correct.
the people at church looked around and were like, ooh, no one else is wearing flip-flops here. We
Yeah,
should,
and
you know.
and you know what, my parish, when we moved to Tyler, it was a pretty small parish, only maybe like 10, 15 families. And there was kind of like a lot more, I don't know, among the moms, like sloppiness. And I think through my dressing on Sunday and like really pretty dresses and heels, and then a few other moms also, we kind of began to almost like up the ante a little bit. And we've seen now that lots of young moms who I think just needed permission that it's okay to wear lipstick. And it's okay to wear a pretty dress and to curl your hair. It's not vanity. And now actually I had like a really cute 18-year-old say, Mrs. Rose, would you please send me the links to I just love your clothes. So I actually made her like a Pinterest page with links to like various things I owned, because she wanted to dress like I did. And I recall with my mother just being so embarrassed with what she would wear. Just when I was in high school, I thought she was so frumpy. And so I did not want to like have that for my daughter. I wanted her to be proud of me, and Josephine was. It was actually really sweet. When she was like 10, before she got sick, she said, "Mama, when I get older, can I please wear your clothes?" So we can really like elevate and inspire. But with standing out and with fitting in, I mean, it's a natural human desire to fit in.
Yes.
And in a culture that's healthy, like in Christendom and in Catholic culture, well, that was a good thing. It was like positive peer pressure.
Yes.
To live a Catholic life. But when it's a culture of death and your culture's gone mad,
yes,
then we have to have the courage to be different. But definitely we have to have groups who support us. I have to have like another mom or two, so that I'm not totally alone.
Yes, absolutely. And I think also just trust that if someone's there, if they're showing up, that like they probably are open to changing how they view themselves and how they dress. But I think I mean, sometimes like, when you are a young, when you have the little kids and everything, a lot of days you don't feel very pretty. Because you probably slept 2 hours the night before, and, you're just kind of making it. Like, showing up might be the best you can manage. But I think that if women could have the right attitude of not saying like, "Oh, like, I can't live up to that standard," but more like, "I wanna be more like that because I am worth it," because God made me beautiful within, and it makes me feel better to dress that way instead of like looking like I just got 2 hours of sleep the night before.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes as moms, we almost want the world to know, so that we get sympathy. Like, listen, just so you all know, I'm a mess because baby has a fever, and I was up all night, so you should feel sorry for me. But I mean, the fact is, we have to get dressed anyway. So it's no more challenging to put on a skirt and a shirt than it is jeans and a shirt.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And if I have chosen to be a full-time wife and mother, and if I love my family, I mean, of course, we all have days when like there's a blowout diaper and everyone needs a snack and everyone's crying and like, sure.
Right.
But if I am dressing like I love what I'm doing,
right.
Because if we always look frazzled and exhausted and like we're always grouchy with our kids, and also especially when moms like really complain about their kids and their husband, well, young women listening think, I don't want to have kids, right? You're so unhappy. Your life is so hard. I don't want to get married.
No, yes, agreed.
So we can be like walking signposts of like, I love my life. Having babies is really fun. And you should have babies too.
Yes. And I think especially if you have many children, this is especially important. Like, I have 8. And, for me too, you're right. That's exactly it. I feel that when I'm in public, like I am currently, the representative of, a mother of large families and how people perceive them. Like, am I going to be like snappy, or am I going to be happy? Like, and you're right. That goes with our dress and everything else. And I have to be honest, like I've had many opportunities to just, really share with people, like, this baby brings joy to our family. Like,
Yes.
you should, don't limit what God can do in your life with your family. Like, it's beautiful. And I think that is a calling we have. So you're right. It's worth it to put that 5 extra minutes into our attire and then just say a prayer like, okay, God, help me keep it together today.
Correct. Well,
We gotta
and I
reflect.
mean, and he does. Like, I know with
Oh
my
yeah.
firstborn, when he was 2, he was the most like strong-willed, fierce child. And there were days when I was like, Lord, please, I can't be patient anymore. Like, I can't, but you can give me patience. And then it would like be a great day, you know? But I actually got in the habit of carrying lipstick in my purse. So if I was like in the car at a stoplight, put on some quick lipstick. So just like having some kind of hacks, so that even if it was a really crazy morning, I would throw on some mascara and put on lipstick, and I would feel like I'm ready for the day. So yeah, it's a great way, I think, as moms. Maria von Trapp, when they would travel, for example, she would have all the kids in like little suits and hair bows, because she would say, children, this could be the only time someone sees a Catholic family at the
Yeah.
train station.
Right.
So let's show them like what Catholic families look like.
Right.
And it's a chance to really witness.
Absolutely. And obviously we do that with our clothing as well. Well, let's see. Do we want to get back to dressing for occasion, or do you want to talk about what the popes have had to say about this, or the history of the undressing of women? I mean, there's so many directions we could go here, Catherine.
You choose.
Ooh, I get to choose. Well, maybe we should. I mean, I don't know that anybody who's watching this program is unaware that certainly in the last 120 years that women's clothing has been literally stripped down.
Correct.
Pretty bare. So we probably don't need to talk about that so much as, well, what are some, let's talk about the popes first.
Okay.
And then maybe you could give us some practical, like, we sort of touched on this. How do we regain our footing? We've definitely been in the losing side of this for 100+ years. We've had fashion and our culture dictate to women what they should wear. Like,
Yes.
how do we regain it? Do we just model it, or is there something else we can do?
Okay. So first of all, with the popes, actually, we can tie it into what happened with women's dress, insofar as it was a deliberate undressing of women.
Oh, yeah.
There's a book from Tan called The Kingdom of the Spirit of the Antichrist. And this author just brings together all these different documents showing like a planned attack upon the church that really like kind of culminated in the early 20th century. So Pope Leo the 13th got his hands on a document called the Alta Vendita, which is Latin for another way. And it was written by a Freemason, Italian Carbonari. His pen name was Nubius. And this letter by Nubius says, listen, Masons, like, we've been assassinating people and it's not working.
It's not working.
Right. The power of the knife, those Catholics, you kill them and there's more Catholics. And actually, he quotes Tertullian. He says, Tertullian was right, that the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. So stop killing Catholics. He said, instead, we have to corrupt them. And because if we can corrupt the church, then she will die. And Nubius lists 3 different ways of, here's how to corrupt priests, here's how to corrupt men. But then last of all, he says, to corrupt women is almost impossible because the corruption of the best is the worst. And he actually quotes a Latin phrase, corruptio optime pessime, because they say, like, you in this letter, listen, but if we don't corrupt the women, but even if the men are corrupted, the women will keep the faith alive in their families, and they'll pray the rosary, and the kids will stay Catholic. So women have to be corrupted. And how? By making them impure. So the popes got a hold of this and then began to really, really respond to it. So, the undressing of women happened in the 1910s to 1920s. In that decade, you can watch literally hemlines go from the ankle to the knee and above, and sleeves go from the wrist to sleeveless, and like flapper dresses, right? They would be sheer even. So it was this shocking change. done to women by fashion designers. It was not women clamoring for freedom in their miniskirts. It was men designers, but also like Coco Chanel was a prostitute, and she was living as like someone's courtesan when she began to design clothes. So
wasn't she the first one to wear pants too? Like that was a big thing. Like she showed up in pants, trousers, to something.
Well, I mean, there were suffragettes, feminists wearing pants in the mid 1800s, but she designed women's clothes.
But I mean, as a fashion person,
correct? Yeah, she would use menswear, so like knitted sweaters and suit jackets, which I'm wearing a blazer. So then, in response to this dramatic undressing of women, and also with that, like the loosening of traditional moral standards regarding virginity and saving relations for marriage. So Pope Benedict XV wrote about this, and it's all in my book. He says, like, for example, like, don't those who supplied the poison know? Like, do they know what they're doing? And of course they did.
They did.
Yeah. Then Pius X spoke, but Pope Pius XI was the most vocal. He was just like a dynamo, right? He wrote and spoke so much. And so he would give talks to Young Women of Catholic Action. He would give talks to the Society of Haute Couture fashion designers. He would give talks to the Society of Master Tailors. And he was not like condemning them. He was always exhorting, like strive for beauty, and women, you are so lovely, and dress in honorable things. And he also, it was like a nuclear bomb went off. He actually wrote a lengthy letter that was a guide for parents, and it published in the New York Times. And it was huge news that the Pope has laid down a dress code. And in it, he says things like, listen, like, parents, don't let your daughter go to the gymnasium. And don't let her wear very little clothing. And if she must go to the gymnasium, make sure she wears more clothing. And lots of ways that parents need to guard their daughters. And, I think that in our culture now, the popes tend to speak very generally about loving Jesus, and there's not that same kind of clarity with regard to guidelines.
Yes. And again, you wonder is that because, again, this one of the cardinal sins of modernity is to be judgmental. And especially for that to come from a prelate,
Correct.
and to have their moral authority challenged because, well, we know what you guys have done in that church. Don't come around here telling us what to wear.
Yeah.
But I do think that really at the end of the day, it's a lack of courage.
Yes.
We have to have courage to always to stand up for what's right.
Yes.
And, yes, as I said earlier, sometimes a subjective judgment can be overly harshly delivered.
Yes.
You have to guard against that, but that's not the same thing as having the courage of your convictions and standing up and saying them.
Yes. And like, with charity, like, hey, sweetheart, you're so beautiful, and you're not presenting yourself in a way that's worthy of you. Yeah, but especially I think with the church, the Masons sent tons of young men. They looked for young men who they said were radicalized. So not even necessarily Masons, but like young men who loved the modern world, who wanted to see things change. And they sent them into seminaries, and then also, of course, so did the Communist Party.
Yes.
So the church has just been attacked by her enemies and infiltrated so deeply that I think that we're going through one of the darkest times in the church.
I agree.
I mean, it's akin to the Arian heresy, when 2 out of 3 priests were Arians.
Yes.
I mean, it's just God, and God permits this for His glory. But I ache for the church.
Yes. But it is a reminder that times like these require stout hearts.
Correct.
In men and, and women in our station and abilities. Like, we have to have stout hearts too, to defend, especially particularly our children. Hence why a lot of us homeschool.
Yes.
And again, it's not because I judge other people who send their kids to private school or public school or anything like that. But I feel like it's been laid upon me as a duty to be the one who is cognizant of what my children are learning and, mindful of how they spend their time and et cetera, et
Yes.
cetera, et cetera. Like that's, it actually takes fortitude to homeschool for all you homeschoolers out.
It takes so much
It does. I'm
fortitude.
sorry, it does.
No,
But
yeah, like
that's what we need though. We need though in this time.
correct.
We need stout hearts.
Yes, because if we want to let's say raise up missionary saints, well, we got to first form them and in like a little greenhouse, like a little safe harbor. Because I have some friends who say like, oh well, I want my kids to go evangelize at the school. Well, they're in second grade.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to send my children to the lions until they're ready. They're ready to be martyrs.
Yes.
And yeah, very much.
They're not ready to evangelize in the tween era either, probably.
No. But I'm a homeschool mother, but my son, when he got to be about 13, it became clear that he needs not mom. And we raise our boys to be like strong, brave, independent leaders. And then it's like, sorry, you have to still stay home with me. So actually, we're starting a high school here in Tyler. It's Chesterton Academy High School.
Wonderful.
And it's actually largely for homeschoolers whose teens are really ready and want more. And Chesterton's a great model because it is so faithfully Catholic and very classical. We have daily mass. So we are doing that actually.
That's wonderful. Good for you. And obviously, since you're the one forming it, you'll have some say over the uniforms, which I presume
my word,
students will be wearing.
Yes. But
I went to Catholic school too.
Okay. Briefly, back to what you were saying about having courage. For women also, if you're feeling called to this, tap into social media, because on Instagram, for example, there are a number of accounts of young, like millennial or even Gen Z, like young Catholic women who are so devout, and they like show themselves wearing veils and in these lovely dresses with their babies. Also, I follow at least one like Pentecostal account. This young woman, she just like always shows her dresses, and she's so joyful. And the cutest things. So you can just search like for modesty in like the themes, and all these accounts pop up. So there like really is this upsurge from mostly Gen Z women who are tired of being sexualized, and then they also want to be beautiful. And so kind of like get to know people in your area. And like I'm going to have a class here in Tyler about how to make an outfit, for example.
That's awesome.
And I've given some talks, and one woman said, "Oh, I can wear makeup." Like I gave it all away because I thought it was like vain. I was like, "Well, Thomas Aquinas says you can wear makeup to cover up defects, and I have big under eye circles and blonde eyelashes, so I'm going to wear mascara to please my husband." Like that's not inherently bad.
No, not at all. Like again, the occasion, the intent, and why you're doing it, right? Like, I mean, these all matter, but.
Yes.
Even Francis de Sales, same thing. He says, as you mentioned, like you dress to honor the people you are around.
Yes, Philothea.
Yes, you don't, look slovenly for the queen, but you don't do that for Jesus either. Like when you go to mass. And it's okay to accentuate your natural beauty with.
But like actually, really, Thomas Aquinas does answer this question, because Cyprian of Carthage said that any makeup is a lie because it's hiding what God made. And Aquinas says no, like you can cover up defects. So even like you can dye your hair to please your husband, not to draw attention to yourself. So like right now there's this trend of these huge eyelashes, right? Well, that's perhaps not very temperate, because that's actually like drawing attention to your eyelashes. So if I wear makeup, I do so like in a very tasteful way, but it is to please my husband.
Yes. And I think too, like the closer it looks to being like more in keeping with your natural beauty is that. And I did want to say, because maybe we should have mentioned this at the outset. Catherine wrote this book, by the way, men out there. She wrote this book for women, and that's why we're addressing it mostly from the element of how women dress. But I 1000% agree with this comment right here, which is yes. I do not think men should wear shorts to mass. I kind of like inwardly go, when I see that, because I tell that to my daughters too, by the way. I'm like, listen, modesty is not just for women.
No.
this guy showing up to mass in shorts, like, I'm not judging his soul, but, like, he's not dressed modestly right now.
No.
Because he is not dressed for the occasion.
Well, like women and men used to always wear total fabric, like when they bathed, for example, right? Men wore long sleeve shirts and like knickers when they would swim. And women also, perhaps not like the Victorian swim dresses that you might drown in, but but after that, kind of women's bathing costumes were long sleeve shirts and like knee length bloomers. And so now we see men out jogging with no shirts on because it's like, oh, well, women aren't visual. Well, that's not true. And, there's a rise of women who are being addicted to pornography, first of all. And also, I don't want to see your shirt, sir. Like, I'm married to my husband and you might be more tanned and muscular than he is. And that's like a temptation for me. So
but most of the time, that's not the case.
It's like, oh, put a shirt on.
Put a shirt on, please. No, 100%. So yes, just so that we make it clear from the outset, this book, we're having a conversation with women about, women's dress, but we 100% believe that men should have honor in their clothing as well. But that's got to come from you men out there. Like,
yes. No, actually, my husband does not wear shorts anymore. He's like, he realized like, this isn't really appropriate. Like, I don't want to show my legs to anybody, to the world. And he was raised super casual. Actually, he was raised atheist, and like the kind of atheist that was like in your face, of you're going to be worm dust one day kind of thing. And when he had a big conversion at A&M, Texas A&M, he still like was kind of casual. He would wear like khakis and like a button-up shirt. And he bought his first suit when he was maybe 39. And because he realized, oh, like I need to wear a suit at mass. And of course, he's so handsome in his suit. But yeah, for sure, men also cover up.
Absolutely. Because you're showing honor to the people in your house too, right? Like when you're dressing around your wife, in a way that says like, hey lady, I'm still maybe trying to win you.
Yeah, correct.
Versus lying around in my shorts or whatever. I 100% agree. I think that it's something we could all step up our game on.
Yeah. Thank you, Joanne. That's a good one.
Yes. But yeah, I think you're right. Like it's been a deliberate undressing of women, and also the relaxing of, towards the men, although, men's fashions haven't changed as drastically as women's. The shorts thing, I would say, is a relatively recent, one. Like men in the 60s weren't strolling around in shorts, like maybe at the beach, but not anywhere else. So I don't know.
Well, shorts were actually for like younger boys, right? Because
like knickers.
Like knickers. So it's like a false boyishness, like a regression, because like in the 60s there was this rise of like Twiggy, and it was like elevating this very girlish, kind of almost like babyish look. In fact, sometimes there would be runway shows and there would be models with like big binkies in their mouths. It was like infantile. It was weird. Yeah. So then men began to wear shorts also in this way of like being boyish or something.
Yeah, that's strange to me. Okay, so all right, let's try to like bring it all back together. So we've talked about the problem, which was you're correct that there was a deliberate idea of breaking down the moral power that women possessed. I think that comes a lot from the way God made, the feminine character within us, that there's a lot of moral fortitude in women just because God made it that way.
Correct.
Somebody has to keep the men in line. Just kidding, men. But there's been a deliberate attempt to rip that down, and by using I have to say the power of the opinions of other women to do that. Because gotta be honest, like when I was in high school, it was 3 years, no uniform. They went to uniforms my senior year. But prior to that, like you were dressing because you didn't want the other girls to be rolling in. The guys probably wouldn't even have noticed.
Yep.
But it's the opinions of other women have caused us to strip down something in us that is a strength. our moral power, to trade it for acceptance, fitting in, those things that we addressed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
How do we win that back? Like, how do we win back young girls who have decided that the cultural, zeitgeist is what they have to listen to?
Yeah. Well, the cultural architects of death knew that you would teach the young, right? And there was one, he's in the book, Wilhelm Reich. He was a Marxist Freudian psychologist, and he felt like clothing and like sexual morality was oppressing women from being free. He actually was the mastermind behind Woodstock. And so he would have his girls, his patients, be naked during sessions. But he realized that just one girl, if she kind of became immoral, her friends would say, no, like, don't do that. They would raise her up again. So he realized I have to teach them in a group. Because when a group of girls thinks, oh, now we're really free, now we're naked and we have no more sexual, repression. So there is power in that sisterhood. And I think it's how God made us. I think that as women, we have this capacity for sisterhood. And in like consecrated life, it's beautiful, right? Like all these beautiful nuns who were joyful together, but it can become corrupted. And you're right about like in high school, I dressed for the other popular girls.
Mm-hmm.
I did not, and I wore skimpy things because that's what they were wearing. And I wore a bikini because, that's what you do. So we have to then reclaim it in a group. So like at my church, for example, we like talk about, oh, look at this dress I found. And we've like kind of created this culture of delight in beauty.
Yes.
So ladies, if you feel called to this and you are alone, have a friend, either like virtually, like maybe a friend like another city. So even not near you, but you can share like dresses links. For sure, follow me on Instagram, a Return to Beauty, or Facebook, because I'm posting outfit photos. I'm also sharing links of where I bought certain things. I try to be really frugal.
That's
and then
great.
also on Pinterest, also at Return to Beauty, I have one Pinterest page with links to things to buy, and then one with just outfit ideas of really cute, like practical, functional outfit ideas. So if you have no friends in your life, I'll be your friend. And let's talk about, like, here's what I'm wearing. Does this work? I've actually had various women approach me through Instagram, and we have like video calls about, does this outfit work? How do I, do my makeup? How to do my eyebrows? And then I'll send them like different links to things they might buy that would kind of fit them. So we have to have social support.
Yes. Yeah. We need to have like a positive social contagion, right? Like, in other words, if they think, females are particularly prone to it, in the bad way, right? The bad way the culture has done it. But we need to reverse it. And make positive social contagion. That you're right. I think if people see beauty expressed joyfully, that they're going to want that for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, in some sense, let's like put them to shame. I mean, let's not be afraid to be a lamp on a hilltop.
Yes.
And to show like, look what you're missing, ladies. Like, you're in your gray running shorts and tank top. Like, look at this. You're a woman. You could be beautiful.
Yes. I will say it is hard for those teenagers out there.
Oh my word.
I mean, my girls definitely caught shade from people for the dresses all the years, so, and this is from even fellow Catholics. So it's hard for the teenagers out there, but I think that, if there's kind of an engaged mother that can help, and maybe try to walk over the landmines. Again, I'm okay with my daughters wearing pants to ride bikes, that kind of thing. There is a gray area there, right?
There's like some safety concerns.
Yes. Oh yeah. Where there's discernment, about the occasion, what are we doing, what's the activity, and mom, I think, is the best for that, for those young girls, because she loves them and loves their hearts and wants them to be well formed. But for the ladies out there who maybe, maybe you grew up and you didn't have a lot of guidance on it, like Catherine is awesome. So as she said, check out her social media. If you want, I'll put the book up one more time. Just there. Ooh, A Return to Beauty, which can be found at where, Catherine? Where
Amazon. Yeah. It was like a new bestseller. Its first week of Amazon. So many women bought it. I think that there's like 4.9 stars, maybe 16 reviews.
That's
So, I
awesome.
mean, ladies, like, buy it for your goddaughters, buy it for your daughters, buy it for your nieces, you know, like, let's spread this word out there.
Yes.
It's so
Um,
needed.
and let's have the, like the courage, and also just, I'll make a confession in my life. Sometimes, like when you're rolling out of bed and it's a busy day, you're just like, fine, just throw the pants on,
Right.
because it just seems faster. Like, and for me too, like I want I actually need more like what I would consider like work outfits, like I'm gonna be like scrubbing toilets today. Like I don't want to be wearing my Sunday dress.
Sure.
I need to have something that I would consider still feminine, but is more functional, for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But
there are a lot of them on Amazon. Amazon has lots of like kind of just casual day dresses,
that's okay, great.
or for nursing moms, a cute
Yes.
skirt and like a little graphic tee. You can tuck it in and be really cute actually.
Yes, and I think I like the tone you're setting, which is we're not dressed. Modesty is not equated with frumpiness.
Nope.
It shouldn't be equated with judgment either. I do think that we should recapture the true meaning of that word, that it really should be equated with loveliness and an
Yes.
encouragement to our fellow ladies out there to, show forth that beauty that God put in your heart by what you're wearing.
I agree. Yeah. So as to honor ourselves and our value in Christ, to honor our husbands, and to honor the family, what we're doing at home. Chesterton talks about how a woman is the queen in her home, and she reigns supreme in her in her domesticity, and she's very
Yes.
frugal, and but also then of course, especially in a culture that's really confused about women and men, and
Yes.
confused about what it means to be a man and a woman, to be like a very lovely woman. One man told me, he said, every woman's a mystery. Like there's something about a woman, but when she's dressed in like a lovely way, I want to just tip my hat to her. Like
Yes.
there's this
You're
there's
like,
this
and you should.
mystery. You should, yeah. And
And because you should be wearing a hat.
also open the door for me while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like there's like this, men almost feel that this kind of awe, like whoa.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
proper, right? They
Yes.
should, yes.
100%.
A pure-hearted woman, like who's beautiful inside, her soul's in a state of grace. She has light inside of her, and then also that shines through, and she can then model that on the outside too.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Well, Catherine, I think that we covered a lot here tonight, but in a succinct, fun way, I hope possible. There was one more question about parish groups. Here, it's also Lisa again, really quickly. She said, any suggestions for parish groups for women to mentor our
Oh, I
youth?
love that. Well, in my parish, like I gave a class on how to sew a skirt, super easy, like a circle skirt, for example. So that's one thing, is you could have like a skirt sewing class. Another way is to have like a fun outfit making class. So I've
Ooh,
had girls before. It's like, come and bring an item of clothing that like you don't ever know how to style. Like, what's bugging you about this skirt, or how do you ever style this shirt? And then we talk about like, well, okay, here's how to make an outfit, and you would pair this with this. So it's like teaching girls how to make outfits. So I think make it fun and have them do something, not just like
yes,
talk about it, but like, okay, we're going to try on these dresses, or we're going to make outfits. And girls love playing dress up. So that's something
yes,
I've done. And then above all, let's see, otherwise, I also had a girls group where every month we would do some different household skills. So like one month we would polish the silver, but also then do like a fun craft. So you could do like a girls group, but every month was doing something practical, but also then something very feminine. And weave in lots about dressing for that, but really helping to inspire them and show them things that are really pretty.
yes.
So those are my ideas. What about yours, Alyssa?
Wow. I mean, honestly, like you rocked those suggestions.
Uh,
I was like, wow. I'm like taking some notes, right? Write that down. But no, I think the overall you gave very specific practical things. Wonderful. I think you covered
okay.
it. I think it fits under that overall heading of let's let beauty reconquer our culture,
Yes.
because our culture has gotten acclimated to ugliness, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And we need to, but I because our hearts are made for God, there is something in us that is always drawn to beauty.
Yes.
And I think that by living that, by encouraging, especially younger girls, who are more, vulnerable and, to the culture's calls, is to encourage them in that, let beauty reconquer the culture.
Yeah, I mean, you even could have like a monthly tea club where everybody comes to tea and they're all wearing hats and pretty dresses and yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just like one more idea.
No, please keep going.
Helping our girls.
And then they
But I
have
think
that social element too of seeing other people doing
yeah.
the same. So I'm not the only weirdo in the room wearing the dress. Like, other people respect that this is, time to dress up. I would say too, like, from more like mom's perspective or grandma's or a trusted aunt or friend, is guiding girls about how to dress for occasions too. Like, when we take our girls to like a show at the theater, or to, even my daughter does ballet, like when they do ballet performances, I'm like, oh no, you dress up. This is
Yes.
occasion. Somebody has put a lot of work and effort into performing.
Yes.
You don't just show up in your shorts. Like, you're if you're a girl, you're going to wear a skirt or a dress, something you wear to church, or
Yes.
even something, even a play dress is okay, but something that is suitable to this occasion.
Correct.
And I
You
think
know,
that that's another one.
it is. And also one more thing at our parish, we have a Candlemas ball for February 2nd, the last day of Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like, it's dinner, it's dancing. And of course, we also ask for the Vatican dress code. So like formal gowns, ball gowns, but with sleeves, fabric up to the front, up the back, no slits. And it's like, first of all, it's been amazing seeing these gorgeous gowns. These like, and also my dresses, I like found these gowns that are beautiful. But we have made it 18 and older. And the teen girls actually are the servers. The teen girls serve dinner. So it's kind of like they're seeing all these adults looking so sharp, these gorgeous women and these men in their suits or their tuxes. And so to also like have something that they can aspire to.
Yes.
Showing like, like, oh, I want to get dressed up and go out. I'm too young, but my mother's just lovely. And letting girls kind of look forward to that.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't think we have any more questions. And I really enjoyed talking to you tonight, Catherine. I think you had, like I said, a lot of great practical suggestions, which I think even for my own journey through this, the modesty question, like, very helpful.
Good.
A lot of times you do kind of get slapped with the, like, you dress like this or you're not modest.
Yes.
And I think that is the wrong message to send. Again, we need to have courage, yes, and to be firm about things, but I think we need to do it in a way that just really encourages girls to reclaim that beauty that,
Yes.
that they have, that has been, like, the culture's trying to tear away from them.
Yeah.
We need to be the positive voice, saying, no, you're beautiful. That's why you dress this way, not because
Yes,
you're
correct.
dirty or something.
Right. 100%. Yep. And ladies, like, you're worth having some self-care. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. So that means like love yourself. And especially as moms, we need to put on our oxygen mask first, right? So take time to, like, I just got my nails done today. Like,
very nice.
Get your nails done, comb your hair.
Yes.
And really shine in our world.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for helping me. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. So I'm trying to remember what my husband does for the closing prayer. He probably just does another Ave. So if you're okay with that, we'll look toward our model in all things, Mary, and invoke her. And especially tonight when we say this Hail Mary, I want to offer it for all those young girls out there, who are struggling with their bodies and how they feel about it. For all the women, the same. I felt that too. Like when we're having babies and things like that, there can be times when we don't love our bodies or think we look very good in what we're wearing. So just remember that You were made by God. You were made for wonder and beauty. And please find a way to dress and feel lovely, because that's what you're made for.
Amen.
All right, so let's say our Ave. In the
Okay.
nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum. Benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen.
Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Amen.
Well, thank you so much again, Catherine, for coming, and good night, everybody.
Good night. God bless.